So all week long, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas has been testifying before Congress. They're discussing the budget for the Department of Homeland Security. They're also discussing the state of the border between Mexico and the United States. And of course, now not only Republicans starting to knock Mayorkas, but some Democrats are also starting to knock him, as well as the potential surge of migrants is building up on the southern border. Democratic Representative Stanton of Arizona told Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas during a House panel hearing, "It is clear to me that the federal government is not prepared, not even close." Now, the hearing is coming as the administration is facing increasing criticism from Republicans, from Democrats, from many people about their approach to ending Title 42. We've talked about it here a lot. Title 42 basically stopped anybody from applying for asylum at the southern border, and if they did, they had to be returned to their home country. It was a result of the pandemic, the idea being that we don't want to allow people to come into the United States who potentially could cause a larger pandemic of COVID. Mm-hmm. But it was quite hypocritical because airplanes were flying. People were coming in from Canada. People were flying in from Canada. People were coming in from all over the world at all various different times. Sometimes countries were banned, but for the most part, people were traveling in and out of the United States. And of course, now that the pandemic is supposedly more under control, and we have therapeutics, we have vaccines, we have robust testing, the fear of a COVID influx across the border is much less when weighed against the threat to people if they were to be returned to their homeland, or the threat of living in tent city on the Mexican border. So with all of that, President Biden said, you know what, we'll go to the old laws. Mm-hmm. It's not like he's making up new laws. Going back to the old laws pre-pandemic, where if you have a claim for asylum, you can go to the border, make a claim, be interviewed. If you pass a credible fear interview, you get to come into the United States, not have to live in a tent on a border, and wait for your hearing in the United States of America, like a human being. Right. Just like a human being. Now, Mayorkas has maintained, in response to all of the stuff that was thrown at him today from both Democrats and Republicans about opening up the border, he maintained in response that part of the planning, including bolstering capacity of non-profit organizations and coordinating with city, local, and state officials, he said the federal government will be prepared and our plan is comprehensive. Now, at the hearing, it got a little disgusting towards the end, Jonathan. A Republican lawmaker slammed the Biden administration's immigration policies, questioning of Mayorkas at times, leading almost to racial stereotyping who was coming across the border. Republican Representative Ken Buck, a Colorado Republican, he criticized Mayorkas for reversing Trump-era immigration policies and claimed Americans were frustrated with, quote, Spanish-speaking children in schools. They are, quote, frustrated with immigrants getting care in hospitals, and, quote, getting frustrated with wages that are being suppressed by the mass influx of laborers. Are you ashamed for what you have done to this country? And Mayorkas' response was, in response to what you have just said, it is so profoundly offensive on so many levels, in so many different regards, I won't even ask you for an apology. And quite frankly, you know, immigrants don't get care in hospitals unless they have medical insurance or unless it's an emergency. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody who wants people dying in the streets. Right. Okay. Spanish-speaking children do go to school. Also, children who speak many languages go to schools. They get taught English, and then they get brought into an English classroom. Right. It's been like that for decades and decades and decades. I don't know where the frustration level is there. And of course, wages being suppressed by mass influx of laborers. That's been debunked by economist after economist after economist. Just not true. Laborers are coming in to fill jobs that Americans just don't want. Working in farms, working in meat factories. We have a shortage of truckers. We can go on and on and on and on and on.
Right.
Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.